Hi friends, it's Liz here. Thank you for joining me today and welcome to my new subscribers. I first wanted to say hello and thank you to Joanne, to Cynthia, and Gretchen. Hope you had a great birthday, Gretchen, and I have something else to send to you soon. Okay, so today I want to show you some really fun collage pieces that I made, and you'll be able to make these so quick. So it'll be kind of like a craft with me video, but I wanted to show you first just some new items that I have in my shop. It's actually just the one item I'm going to show you, but there'll be several of them. And I'm so excited about it because I've been trying to figure out a way to kind of put these together. They are the paper samplers, and they'll come in either the craft cardstock kind of cover or some sort of kind of scrapbook cover that has a design. I'll be making these sort of as requests, so I will leave that the links to my shop in the description box below. But what I love about it is I really love working with a variety of papers, wallpapers, vintage papers, book pages, you name it. And I've been trying to figure out a way to make a paper sampler that's easy to fill again, easy to access, and that you can have just a nice variety of pieces in there. So these ones are about 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and they come with 30 pieces of paper. So the variety of papers included are like this vintage wallpaper. You've got book pages, scrapbook paper, unbleached and semi-bleached paper, graph paper, you name it. I love that I had these fasteners that are like the vintage brass fasteners that I wanted to use, and they're perfect for this project because, as you can see, you can take a look at every page you have and you can either rip it right off or open up your fastener and take them out and attach something else if you want to. So you can see here I have a variety of vintage book pages, wallpaper samples, like I said, the graph paper, semi-bleached paper, etc. The other thing I love about this is that the pages, most of them are actually folded in half. So you could essentially, make a small mini journal out of these as well if you wanted to, because they're folded in half, the pages. I think there's only a couple that are single, but most of them are folded in half, including the wallpaper sample paper. So I am in love with this. I think I'll have so much fun using these myself because it'll be easy to see, the different paper samples that I have to use. And if you're like me, there's always a little something kind of creative and exciting that happens when you get a new piece of, paper to play with. And I like the fact that these ones will include such a variety of little samples that you can look at. And like I said, it's, the scrapbook paper. I think there's one piece of scrapbook in this one. Mostly it's vintage book pages as well as the wallpaper samples, but they will all have something different, but we'll have 30 pages each. Like I said, some of the covers will be designer cover cardstock paper. Others will have the neutral. You can just decide which one you want to purchase. And I'm hoping these kind of become an add-on in my, in my shop. Take a look at what I have there now as well. There's a lot of really great journals from a lot of ladies in the consignment shop. And the prices are incredible right now, you guys. So if you're looking to get yourself a journal, just check it out. And if you want some help with me helping to sell your journals, just send me an email. I have been doing the consignment shop for a little while now, and I'm getting a lot of different junk journal creators sending me their work to sell for them. And it's been going so well, you guys. I love to see other artists. I love to help other artists. And like I said, if you want more details, just send me an email and we can chat further. So, okay, let's get started with the Craft With Me project. I am so excited about it. You for sure have the pieces that you need to make this project, as well as the base for it, which I was so excited about. I'm sure I'm not the first one that has come up with this, but recently I've seen everybody making these rolls of, collage pieces. And I thought, well, I have so many receipts and I don't want to just scrap them or, recycle them. I want to use them, and they make great bases for my projects. I'm pulling out my scrap bin because I need to use a lot of it up. And that's another thing that I'm sure most of you crafters have, is bins of scraps. And then you'll also need For this particular purpose, I'm showing you these die cuts or these dies that I'll be using, but I'll show you how I'll use those. I've got my distress inks and of course some of my applicators for them, and of course your preferred glue to attach pieces together. So the fun part about this project is you can use anything you have at home. I'm sure most of you have those giant Michaels receipts like I used to get. And of course, you know, you do your purchases, your grocery shopping, etc. There's a lot of receipts somewhere all over the place. And I like those as bases because you can either use them as, you know, cut them up and use them throughout your projects, or keep them as you finish them. And there's just so many possibilities with them. So the funny thing about what I'm going to show you now is I started filming this one and I thought that I was recording the whole process. So what ended up happening is I was kind of playing around with the pieces I have. As you can see here, I'm looking for kind of long pieces to cover up a lot of the receipts, some smaller book page pieces, etc. And when I find, you know, something that I think works and I enjoy, then I kind of put it together. Now, I'm kind of thinking about this a little bit too much, but you don't have to. You can just do your own thing and just start gluing whatever you want on top. It could be fabric, it could be, you know, pieces of ephemera, etc., etc., whatever you want to add to these. But I like the idea that I'm recycling and reusing those receipts, and they're going to look so beautiful at the end. I've got this little piece of piano paper that I don't want to use yet. So I've got some wallpaper pieces here as well, which I think are fabulous. So getting back to what I was saying, here I am thinking I'm filming the process, and for some reason I stopped filming during the actual collaging of it. So for this particular one, you won't see a lot of it, but I do have another one that I am going to show you. And that one, I actually walk you through the whole process. So you can see here how it just kind of skipped to some pieces that I had already added to this, this kind of collage. And the previous part is what I had filmed, which is what's missing. So I don't know what I was thinking. Anyways, I'm just adding the finishing touches to this piece, and then you'll probably see the finished complete product in a few minutes, but I will start another one again just so you can watch the process. Again, I'm just using, you know, my favorite type of glue. I'm using both the glue stick and the liquid glue because it depends on the piece. Sometimes it's easier to glue it that way. So as you can see here, I've gone ahead and done this part, and then I think I add a few more pieces to it that are not on camera, but I've already finished it anyway. So I'm going to get started on the next one, and this one will be done from the beginning to the end. Okay, so here we go. So I've grabbed my other receipt. This one I'm using the back of it because I thought there wasn't so much writing on it anyways on this side, and I'd like sometimes to have just like a little bit of white space just in case I need it. So as you can see here, I'm just gluing, putting glue on the back side of the receipt. And then I'm just starting to gather my pieces again, some long, some shorter, just playing around with the whole collage. And then you'll just see me do this process for a little bit. I figured that I would show you, you know, most of the process because I know sometimes it's difficult to kind of see what was done. So that's what I'm doing here. Okay, so I have the longer pieces sort of glued on. I'm sort of doing a little bit of gluing because I might be moving some pieces around. So I just want to make sure that some of the pieces stay and not necessarily completely glued on at this point. And then I start to add, you know, just a few other bits and pieces to it because I want it to have just a different kind of texture. I don't want everything that I glue on it to just be you know, I guess a flat surface. So I think at some point I end up getting another piece of wallpaper, and this little piece, I think it's from an envelope, and I add that to it as well. As I'm remembering now, don't forget to join my giveaway if you haven't done so already. I will link that video below. I have some fun products that I got to try out this month, and you get to win yourself a set if you are interested. And I always think, you know, why not enter a giveaway if you've got a potential to win something. So of course you have to be a subscriber and just read the information that I have in the description box of that video for any other details that you might need. Okay, so here I'm adding the piece of wallpaper, which like I said, I always love adding some sort of texture. This wallpaper happens to have a nice texture to it because it's almost like a raised, kind of imprint. So I really like how that looks. I like that it's also a paintable wallpaper. I think I've mentioned this to you guys before. I like using this a lot whenever I have a little extra piece around. And then the next part is kind of like my favorite part, which is what kind of started this whole process. I wanted to reuse some of the pieces that I had left over from doing some die cutting. And, I'm kind of using my Tim Holtz die cuts or dies right now. You can use, of course, anything you have, and you don't need to use this because what I end up doing through the process is kind of using them as stencils. I'll show you that more in a little bit what I'm talking about. But here I'm placing one of the flowers to kind of see how it will look on the paper before I start the process. And because I end up liking it, I use the leftover part, I forgot what that's called, of the die cut, and I'm using it as a stencil. So here I'm just grabbing my distress inks. I happen to have these really old ones and they're almost dry, at least the pink one is. The green one still seems to have a little bit of color to it. And I love using these brushes to add my inks. I will link I will link in the description box below my favorite supplies, because I know I always get asked, where I found that or where people could find this. So you can see here how it has that nice little imprint of the flower. So that's what I was doing with my other ones, is kind of using the leftover die cut bit as a stencil. And I even love how, the center of that flower kind of came through with the color and how I was doing it. It's just almost perfect. Anyways, so adding a few more pieces. I think I want to add like a label to it. And I have my little label binder, so I'm going to grab that. I shouldn't call it label binder. It's my little ephemera holder. I do have a video showing you guys that binder. I will link that in the description box below. And it's this one here. And what I've done with it is basically I've made it like an ephemera holder. So I'm just looking for some labels that I know I want to probably use. Some of these labels come from a few different digital designers. And if you want to know exactly what they are, just leave me a comment below and I will let you know which ones I use, because I don't remember at this instant. So I'm grabbing some of the ones that are just blank, and then there's one that has like numbers on it, which I think is really cute. And so I will be deciding just which one I'll be adding to this collage. I don't even know what to call it because it's not really a tag, but I could make it into a tag. I can cut it in half once I'm finished. I could kind of try and maybe add different pieces to my different projects. And so, like I said, it's just sort of, you've got a base collage piece that you have put together with a lot of basic pieces, a lot of, pieces that you would have recycled, that you may have thrown out, but I'm reusing them, and I think it's just so fun. So, like I said, I was inspired by so many people I've seen making these collage kind of rolls of things and using, different strips of papers or fabrics to make them. But I thought, why not use receipts? I have so many of them, I might as well put them to good use. So the next thing I think I want to add here is maybe some washi. I think it's just missing a little something. And this is the beauty of this project. I can leave it as is now, and I can come back to it later and add more to it if I want to. I could continue to add to it because it's just, something to play with. It doesn't have to be so perfect that, you think it might be ruined by something that you've done. So I just wanted to say that. So I will be adding a little bit of washi tape here, and then I think that's all I'm going to do for this piece. I'm going to show you the rest that I did, of course, and I hope you guys enjoyed the share. So if you like this kind of video, don't forget to leave me a thumbs up. I love to play with paper and do some different types of creative projects for you guys. Don't forget to check out my shop. As I said, I've got my new little paper samplers that I'm adding, and I'm so excited about that. Let me know what else you would like to see maybe added to my shop that I don't have right now. I just, if you guys want something, I can try and figure out how to get it or make it, etc. And I hope you guys enjoyed the share. Let me know if you make any of these. Tag me on Instagram, on Facebook, and just let me know if you've been inspired to make something. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I will see you next time. Bye.